Thank you. This will be a short communication, but it's not announced in the program. Not the same title.
Non, no, the hypersensitivity PCR.
So,
That is the title. Hypersensitive PCR in diagnosis.
as you probably know, we have been working for several years in the detection method using electromagnetic signals from pathogenic DNA. But we found that this technology is a little heavy, doesn't give the complete answer what kind of pathogenic agent is emitting the signals. So we turn back to a very old technique, PCR, polymerase chain reaction, which can be used by almost everybody in laboratory. But we started more recently from a collaboration with a group of quantum physicists from Italy, mostly in Milano with Emilio Del Giudice, unfortunately, who disappeared in 2014, and also Giuseppe Vitiello, who is professor in Salerno University. And they tried to theorize what we were observing in the laboratory. That means the possible role of water in the transmission of DNA sequence by the reading of DNA by polymerase. As you know, DNA polymerase in the PCR is Taq polymerase from Thermophilus aquaticus, from a bacterium living in hot spring. And this enzyme is heat resistant, so that we can heat the DNA double helix, and again the polymerase can work on the new strand opened by this double helix, from this double helix. So this is, I would say, interdisciplinary work, but I must say, all the theory comes from our colleagues, quantum physicists, which also belong to some university in the United States. So what we saw is that between the double helix open and the Taq polymerase, there is an intermediate medium, which is water. And so this is the scheme of a paper published last year in the journal Waters, edited by Jerry Pollack, in which they put inside, between the DNA and the enzyme, the water made of dipoles, small dipoles, but they are all organized. This is organized water, as you heard this morning. And this organized water can transmit waves of information from the base sequence of the DNA to the enzyme. So this is a scheme, of course, hypothetical, but which should work for all kinds of polymerase PCR chain reaction. And probably this would explain in the classical PCR why it's so easy to use small oligonucleotides primers of about 20 bases long. And the enzyme, the system finds easily that this small oligonucleotide primer will bind a sequence complementary to it in a random situation in which there are millions of sequences which do not contain that sequence. So probably this is some kind of resonance of tuning implying waves. But we mostly adapt this technology for the detection of the DNA which was emitting signals, electromagnetic signals, from pathogenic bacteria. So it has to be recalled that in that system, like in homeopathy, we have to agitate very strongly in a vertex system the water. The homeopathic people use that dynamization or concussion. So what we thought was if we could dilute out a dilution of DNA to a dilution which there is no DNA left, maybe the enzyme will read the sequence on the nanostructure of water. Of course, this is something astonishing, but it works. So we can make now PCR from less than one DNA molecule. So what we are making dilutions after filtration so that only nanostructure can be left, less than 100 nanometers. And we call those structures carrying the pathogenic DNA formation, temporarily at least, hydrions. So we apply this technology, detection of hydrions of bacterial origin, but could be also viral origin, in chronic disease. I pass on the details of the system. Indeed, the first critical part is the reading by the polymerase enzyme directly from DNA without extraction. We are assuming the structure, the water structure represented in the plasma as nanostructure. So we don't extract the DNA, but we make the DNA from some dilution of the initial plasma. So this cartoon shows what we think. There is vortex agitation in each dilution, and if you dilute 1 in 10, of course, you dilute, I suppose, a liquid crystal. The liquid crystal is reformed in the dilution after shaking. So actually, you make no dilution at all. The concentration of the nanostructure is the same in all dilution. This will explain also homeopathy. And we applied this technology first to two diseases we were studying before, Lyme disease and autism. I will show you the results on Lyme disease. So I pass on the property of the Lyme agent, which is polymorphic. We use 16S ribosomal DNA primers to detect this part of the ribosomal DNA, which is both conserved and variable. Conserved in the oligonucleotide part and variable between the two. So the enzyme will read between the two primers of 16S ribosomal DNA. This is just a result of classical PCR. We get a band of about 499 bases, about 500. But on the contrary of the classical PCR, we have a much more sensitive detection in Lyme patients which do not show this classical polymerase DNA detection. Here is an example. First, we make a control experiment using the amplicon itself from the ATCC strain, ATCC collection strain, and we detect on the left the DNA, which is the DNA itself, read by without dilution. But on the right, you see bands even at dilution of 1 in 20, D20. So this means after we calculate that after D7, there is no amplicon DNA left. So it must be something else, which is read by the enzyme. Now, we applied this to the plasma of patients. And again, we see a reading low and not in the first two dilution of the plasma, because there is inhibition probably by DNAs contained in the plasma. So there is no band left at that time. But on the right, you see a huge collection of solution, dilution, from 14 to 20, which show the DNA bands. Of course, we could say this may be contamination. We check, I would say, every possible risk of contamination. Everything is done in laminar flow hood class 100, which has been used for detection of viruses, and everything is changed. The pipette has changed. We make DNA, we make water control without DNA, so that I don't think is due to contamination. And this is a young boy which had Lyme disease. It's true that in this case we could detect from the DNA extract from his plasma also positivity by classical PCR, but he had a mother. The mother had no laboratory sign of Lyme disease infection, but she suffered the same symptom that her son, and she showed again many bands of DNA high dilution. So this is the mother. You can see there are some holes. You can see there are some holes. Not all dilution are positive. We have seen that in many examples in homeopathy at the time of Jacques Benvenist's work. But it's also shown here in a young boy which suffered from autism. It shows also a double infection by Suterella group of bacteria, but also by Borrelia. So this is here, again, is profile with Borrelia. So we are really hoping that this technology opens up a more sensitive detection of cases in which other laboratory techniques do not work. So this is the end. I'd like to thank Claude Lavallée, which is the major contributor in my laboratory in Geneva for this work, Giuseppe Vitiello for the consultant part of this work, and all my medical associates of Cranimed, in particular Dr. Corinne Skorupka. Thank you.
Grazie professore. Il professor Montagnier ci ha portato un altro esempio di ricerca di frontiera particolarmente innovativa che dovrebbe dar luogo a una avanzata tecnologia di PCR, e è un onore aver avuto da lui questa indicazione così tempestiva, così avanzata oggi. A questo punto, dato il ritardo, vuole la parola? Sì.
I forgot to mention that we want to extend this to the detection of any kind of bacteria. And so we have also designed primers which are recognizing all the groups of bacteria, especially the gram-positive or the gram-negative. And so we applied that to detection in the plasma. But unfortunately, up to now, all the water we are using, laboratory water, pure water, they all show bacterial DNA. It doesn't mean they are, of course, not sterile. They are sterile. But we are measuring DNA molecules of any kinds. And we cannot look for the specific DNA in plasma if the control is positive. And this is the case up to now.
Grazie ancora professore. Si tratta la ricerca incontra spesso questo problema del controllo positivo ed è uno degli ostacoli ai grandi